Hi, Charlie McCann from Stan James, wanting to preview this midweek football action. International friendlies are the order of the day. Not normally a great fan, but 28 of the 32 teams will be participating in South Africa later on in the year. They are in action. Some really interesting ties, I must say. Spain, the holders. Let's just look at the World Cup, the outright book with StanJames.com. We've got Spain, the 4-1 favourites. They travel to Paris to take on an ageing French side. And of course, Raymond Domenech is still under pressure. Seems to be the most unpopular person in France. You remember a tennis tournament before Christmas, he was the crowd saw him at the match and he was roundly booed, and that wouldn't happen to Fabio Capello at this moment in time, but will that be still the case come the end of July? But whoever, England are 11-2, they play Egypt. More about that later. I think this is one of the most interesting games of the week. Argentina 8-1, they're 6-5 to play in. Sorry, they are playing in Germany, and again a fascinating one. You've got great Maradona, who's now he's got this Argentinian side by hook or by crook, as it were. They got there by the skin of their teeth, although they won that game, of course, in that must-win game in Uruguay. They are in Germany again. Germany. I think that a lot of people, a lot of Argentinian players didn't really want to play for Maradona in the build-up. Now I think you'll find it different, and I think captained, of course, by Mascherano of Liverpool, and a lot of people will be looking at Di Maria, who's the Benfica wide player. Of course, a lot of all the big four and everybody seems to be talking about this guy more. Again, people will be looking at him. We've also got France, as I say, playing Spain. Italy minus, of course, Robin van Persie. They play a 12-1 shot. They're at home against Cameroon. 14-1 Germany. They play, and it's a 25-1 bar. That, of course, who takes the Ivorians. But I think the England game is the most intriguing. Arguably, England were 3-1 on at one stage. We pushed them out just a bit to 4-11. I think that is slightly more realistic. Price, the draw is 7-2, and Egypt 8-1. Let's just focus more on Egypt. They are now a hat-trick behind them, hat-trick of wins in the African Cup of Nations. They are the most successful country. They've 7 times they've won the African Cup of Nations. They are ranked 10th in the world. Now they are they are of course the lowest ranked country in the world who will not be participating at the World Cup in South Africa. That, of course, was when they were beaten in their playoff by Algeria 1-0 on a neutral. I think that was in the Sudan. They got their revenge in the African Cup in Angola in the African Cup of Nations 4-0 against a very, very ill-disciplined Algerian side. Of course, that is significant because Algeria, of course, are in England's group, but Egypt put them to the sword 4-0. Of course, though, if you do that, watch the game really did revolve. 30-35 minutes, it was a 50-50 game, and then Algeria had a player sent off. There was a red card, and the game, their discipline, I don't know if you saw the tackle by Yebda of Portsmouth. It was an appalling tackle, but they went on to win that game. They really are, I think, a country, I think, improving. They played the best football rather than Ghana, rather than the Ivorians, rather than the Cameroons. The Pharaohs did play the best football on the occasion. I think 8-1 is an insult, but they don't appear out of Africa. They don't travel. That is the history one. That's the reason that 8-1, not because nobody's looked at the form for the African Cup of Nations. It's just historically. But I think the crowd will get behind them. I think they'll have a big following at Wembley tomorrow, and I just think that 4-11 or 8-1, I know which one I would like to back. It's 5-6 England half-time, full-time for those who think England will win it and win quite convincingly. The first goal scorer offers, and of course we will have the offer. If your player scores a goal but doesn't score first, we will fund your losing stake. We could Wayne Rooney 3-1 now. Rooney, we put the 7-1 up at the weekend for him to score with a header in the Carling Cup final. Well, of course, he came on, and not only did he score one, he probably ought to have scored 2. Well, that offer still stands. He's 7-1 to score another goal, but he's the 3-1 favourite. We've got Jermaine Defoe 4s, Carlton Cole, big night for him, 5s, Crouch 5s, Lampard 11-2, Gerrard 6-1. You can imagine a lot of those players will only play 45 minutes, of course, do that massive game. Of course, who's going to play left back? Will it be 45 minutes for Stephen Warnock? A reject, of course, of Rafael Benitez at Liverpool, and another Liverpool lad in Leighton Baines, who of course plays for Everton. I just at this moment in time favour Warnock, but fascinating market, and of course they could easily, of course, he could give Julian Lescott, of course, back in the side to go at left back as well. Again, Capello, normally these international friendlies are a bit of a drab. I think now, given the timing of them, I think they are more and more significant. Do look out for Guido as well of Egypt. He came on and scored in 4 successive games for Egypt in the World Cup final, in the African Cup of Nations, including, of course, the only goal in the final against Ghana. But let's go just a quick through Scotland as well. We haven't mentioned 13-8 against the Czech Republic, 13-8 in the draw, 9-4 first game for Craig Levein. Craig Burley, of course, didn't have Chris Boyd back in the fold, and big night there for Scotland as well. Wales 13-5, no Bellamy for them, of course, draw 9-4 against Sweden, 11-10, and Albania 6-4 against Northern Ireland, 9-5 with the draw, 9-4. But Rooney 7-1 to score with another header. 3-1 to be the first goal scorer. But the Pharaohs, I don't know, everyone says they don't travel, but at 8-1 they are a good team, technically very, very, very good. But I think this will be a real barometer for England. I think whoever selected the Pharaohs to well play at Wembley with Algeria in mind needs a round of applause as well. But the 10th best and 10th ranked team in the world coming to Wembley, I don't think they'd come down there, despite the record on the road, to fall over. And I really do think that the Pharaohs will give England a real game. Be lucky.